Picture this. New York City, 1950. The post-war boom is in full swing. Times Square is a dizzying spectacle of flashing neon signs, rumbling modern cars, and crowds of people chasing the American dream. It's the heart of the modern world, a symbol of progress and the future. But on a warm summer evening, on June 14th, something impossible is about to happen. Something that would tear a hole in our understanding of time itself. Imagine the scene. Thousands of people are flooding the streets, the air thick with the sounds of the city car horns, chatter, the distant wail of a siren. Then, suddenly, amidst the chaos, witnesses report something utterly bizarre. A man appears in the middle of the street, seemingly out of thin air. He looks confused, completely disoriented, his eyes wide with a mixture of terror and bewilderment. But it's not just his confusion that makes people stop and stare. It's what he's wearing. He's dressed in immaculate Victorian clothing, a frock coat, a waistcoat, and a tall top hat. He looks like he's just stepped directly out of a history book, a ghost from a bygone era wandering into the blinding lights of the 20th century. Before anyone can fully process what they're seeing, or even shout a warning, a taxi speeds toward him. The man, frozen in place, doesn't seem to comprehend the danger. To him, this metal machine is an alien concept. The impact is swift and tragic. When police officers arrive at the scene, assuming it is just another unfortunate traffic accident, they begin their routine procedure, expecting to clear the scene and file a report. But nothing about this case would be routine. As they examine the victim's body, the mystery only deepens. The first clue is his clothing. A forensic examiner is called in, expecting to find that the man was wearing a costume, perhaps on his way to a theatrical performance. But the analysis reveals something stunning. The garments are not they are authentic 19th century pieces, perfectly preserved, showing almost no signs of wear. It was as if they had been tailored just the day before, not 70 years in the past. Then, they check his pockets, and what they find defies all logic. They pull out a handful of old coins and bank. But these aren't worn-out collector's items. They shine as if they were just minted currency from the 1870s, without any of the tarnish or patina you'd expect from coins that had been in circulation for over 7 decades. It was simply impossible. But there was more. They found business cards, printed with a name and an address on Fifth Avenue. The style of the printing, the quality of the paper, everything pointed to another era. And then, the most chilling discovery of all. An unopened letter, addressed to the man, with the postmark dated 1876. The wax seal was perfectly intact, the paper crisp and fresh, as if it had been written just yesterday, waiting to be read. The name on all these documents was Rudolph Fentz. He was approximately 30 years old, but this is where the investigation transitions from a simple accident to an enigma that would baffle investigators for years to come. The case landed on the desk of Captain Hubert V. Rim of the NYPD Missing Persons Squad. Rim was a veteran detective, a logical and methodical man who had seen it all. He was confident he could solve this puzzle quickly. He started by searching the current missing person reports. Nothing. No one matching Fentz's description. No reports of anyone named Rudolph Fentz vanishing. Undeterred, Rim decided to check the address from the business card on Fifth Avenue. The building was still standing, but the business listed on the card was long gone, having vanished decades earlier. Rim knew he had to dig deeper. He spent days poring over dusty city records, old newspapers, and archived phone books from the turn of the century. He was looking for any trace of a Rudolph Fentz. And then, he found it, buried deep in an old missing persons file from 1876. The report was filed by a man named Rudolph Fentz Jr., who stated that his father had gone missing. The father's name, Rudolph Fentz. The description was a perfect match. Aje 29 last seen leaving his home for his customary evening walk. He simply walked out his front door and never returned. The implications were staggering. The man who died in the middle of Times Square in 1950 was the very same man who had vanished without a trace in 1876. He hadn't aged a single day. 74 years had seemingly passed for the world, but for Rudolph Fentz, It was just an instant. It was as if he had taken one step in 1876, and the next had landed him in the middle of a frantic 1950s intersection. How is this possible? Was it a time slip? A tear in the fabric of reality? Did he accidentally wander into a parallel dimension, only to be spat out in another time? Every single piece of evidence found on his body was authenticated. There were no signs of forgery, no tricks. Science had no explanation. Logic had no answer. Over the years, many have dismissed the story of Rudolph Fentz as a clever urban legend, a work of fiction that preys on our fascination with the unknown. Skeptics point out that the story first appeared in a science fiction anthology and that concrete police files have never been publicly produced. They argue it's a cautionary tale, a modern folk tale for a technological age. But others claim the official police investigation was real, and the files were quietly buried to avoid public panic and the uncomfortable questions they raised. They believe the story is true, a genuine documented case of time travel. And if it is just fiction, why does it feel so plausible, so terrifyingly possible? The story taps into a deep-seated fear that the reality we perceive is not as solid as we think. It suggests that time might be more fragile, more fluid, than our linear understanding allows. Perhaps, somewhere in the spaces between the seconds, in the unseen folds of our world, there are pathways. And just maybe, others might be stepping through them, waiting to emerge in our time, just as Rudolph Fentz did. He appeared on that warm summer night in Times Square, when the past collided violently with the present and left us all with a mystery that may never ever be solved. What do you think happened to Rudolph Fentz? Was he a true time traveler, or is this one of history's greatest hoaxes? Let me know your theories down in the comments. March 2003, New York City. The FBI gets a tip that will shatter everything they thought they knew about reality. A mysterious man has just made 126 consecutive high-risk stock trades, and he hasn't lost once. Not a single loss. His starting investment, a mere $800. His profit in just 2 weeks, a mind-boggling $350 million. The odds are impossible. Mathematically, it shouldn't happen. Statistically, it's a glitch in the universe. But it did happen. Naturally, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, had to involve it. This isn't luck. It's not genius level skill. This is something else entirely. Federal agents move in swiftly. They arrest the investor, a man who calls himself Andrew Carlson, aged 44, but his arrest isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of a rabbit hole that goes deeper than anyone could imagine. Inside the interrogation room, Carlson is unnervingly calm. It's as if he expected this, maybe even planned for it. The agents are on edge. They demand answers. How did you do it? What's your secret? Who's your source for the insider information? And then he says something that sends a chill down their spines. I'm from the year 2256. The room falls dead silent. A time travel. The agents think he's crazy. Or maybe he's just mocking them, playing some kind of sick game. But he doesn't waver. He continues his story, explaining that he's a tourist from the future who traveled back in time. He came to experience our era firsthand, but he made a critical mistake and got greedy. He used his knowledge of historical stock market movements information that, for us, wouldn't exist for another 2.5 centuries. Carlson then offers a deal that sounds like something out of a science fiction movie. He'll reveal the location of Osama bin Laden. He'll give them the cure for AIDS. He'll tell them how to prevent the worst effects of global warming. He'll even explain the mechanics of his time machine. But there's a catch. They have to release him and let him return to his own time. The FBI agents are caught in an impossible situation. Is this an incredibly elaborate hoax? Is the man having a complete mental breakdown? Or is it something far more bizarre? Something that defies all logic. They decide to dig into his background to find out who this Andrew Carlson really is. And this is where the story gets truly disturbing. There's no birth certificate, no social security number, no record of employment, no school history. Andrew Carlson, for all intents and purposes, does not exist. Not in any official database, anywhere in the world. It's as if he materialized out of thin air. During 4 hours of intense interrogation, He provides incredibly specific details about the future. He names historical events, dates, and technologies that are decades, even centuries away. These are things that are impossible to verify, things that may or may not ever happen, but he delivers them with unshakable confidence. Soon, the media gets a whiff of the story. The headlines are explosive. Time traveler arrested. The world is divided. Skeptics laugh it off as a tabloid fantasy. Believers become obsessed, analyzing every detail. And here's where the story takes its darkest, most mysterious turn. Carlson is held on a $1 million bail, an amount designed to keep him locked up. But then, out of nowhere, a mysterious benefactor posts the entire amount in cash. There's no name, no paper trail, no identity. Someone just paid $1 million to set Andrew Carlson free. He's scheduled to appear in court in April 2003. The date comes, but Carlson is a no-show. He has vanished. Completely. Without a single trace. The FBI launches a massive search. They find nothing. His own lawyer has no idea where he went. The mysterious benefactor is never identified. The case goes completely cold, filed away as one of the strangest in the Bureau's history. So, what really happened? Some say it was all a hoax, a publicity stunt cooked up by the tabloid Weekly World News which first published the story. They were, after all, known for fictional tales, but others aren't so sure. They point to the facts that are harder to dismiss. The FBI documents, the official investigation, the recorded interrogation tapes. If it was all just a joke, why did federal agents get involved? And more importantly, why did someone pay $1 million to make him disappear? And how did he vanish so perfectly, so permanently? The stock trades were real. The incredible profits existed. The SEC investigation happened. These are documented facts. So, what if Andrew Carlson was telling the truth? What if someone from his time, from the year 2256, came back to retrieve him, to fix his mistake? What if right now, in this very moment, there are others among us, time travelers, observers from centuries ahead, walking our streets, living in our world, trying to blend in, just waiting for the moment they might slip up, just like Andrew Carlson did. The year is 2256, over 200 years from now, and somewhere in that distant future, a man named Andrew Carlson knows exactly what happens next in our history, because for him, it's already happened. The real question isn't whether time travel is possible. The question is, how many others are here, right now, watching, waiting, and trying not to make the same mistake he did? Picture it. New York City, 1900 AD. In a laboratory buzzing with raw electricity and impossible ideas, Nikola Tesla is at work. But this isn't about another power system, wireless energy, or remote control. No, this is something far more dangerous. Something that could unravel the very fabric of time itself. Tesla called it the telectroscope, but that name doesn't even begin to capture what it truly was, what it truly did. This was a device designed to communicate across time, not space. Time. The greatest mind of the 20th century. The man who gifted us alternating current, who literally illuminated the world, and who dreamed of free energy for all humanity. He kept this one invention hidden, buried in his notes, locked away from everyone. Why? Why would a man who patented hundreds of inventions hide this one? What did he discover that terrified him into silence? According to suppressed documents, whispered legends, and Tesla's own cryptic journal entries, he didn't just try, succeeded. Late one night, alone in his lab, Tesla activated the device. It was a complex receiver, connected to resonant coils, all tuned to frequencies that theoretically shouldn't exist. At first, there was only static, the white noise of the universe, the sound of the emptiness between moments. But then, something else. A voice. It was clear, distinct, and speaking English. But it used words and slang that hadn't been invented yet. It described technologies that were still decades or even centuries away. The voice on the other end of the line claimed to be calling from the year 2150. They said they were a descendant, a scientist who had reverse-engineered Tesla's own forgotten research, and they weren't calling to congratulate him. They were calling to warn him, to beg him, to plead with him to destroy the device. Why the desperation? Because in their timeline, in their future, this incredible invention had unimaginable consequences. Consequences that had shattered reality itself. Tesla documented the entire conversation, 3 pages, written in his own hand, discovered decades after his death among his personal effects. The voice from the future told him about a Second World War, long before it happened. It described the horrifying power of atomic weapons, before they were even a concept. It mentioned things like the internet, artificial intelligence, and a catastrophic climate collapse, but it also spoke of something else, something far darker. A temporal war, a secret war fought across the centuries, all enabled by devices, just like the one Tesla had built. Factions from different eras were fighting for control of the timeline itself, erasing people from existence, rewriting history on a whim, creating paradoxes that tore gaping holes in the fabric of reality. And according to the voice, it all started right there, in that lab, with Tesla's telectroscope. The inventor was shaken to his core. 4 days. He didn't sleep, didn't eat. He just stared at his creation, this beautiful, terrible thing. He made more coals. Or, perhaps, they called him. Reports from his assistants at the time described Tesla having long, intense conversations with no one, just speaking into a strange device, and then writing frantically in his notebooks. One assistant later claimed he overheard both sides of a conversation. He heard Tesla asking questions, and a distorted, strange voice answering from the receiver. A voice that he said sounded wrong, like it was coming from everywhere and nowhere all at once. Driven by a terrible need to know, Tesla asked about his own future, his own death, and the voice told him the truth. It told him he would die on January 7th, 1943, in room 3327 of the New Yorker hotel. Alone, broke, and forgotten by the very world he had helped to build. The voice also told him what would happen to his life's work. It would be seized by the FBI, classified top secret, studied, and ultimately weaponized. They would try to rebuild his telectroscope, and they would succeed, and that's when the timeline would truly begin to fracture. Fast forward to 1943. Just as the voice predicted, Nikola Tesla died, and almost immediately, FBI agents swooped in and seized all of his research. Thousands of documents were confiscated under national security orders. The official story is that they found nothing of value, just the outdated theories and impossible dreams of an old man. But witnesses reported something strange. Among his belongings was a bizarre device, unlike anything they had ever seen, and before it could be properly cataloged, it was destroyed, deliberately smashed to pieces. It's as if Tesla, in his final days, made sure it could never be used again. But was it the only one? Did Tesla, a man known for his paranoia and for building multiple prototypes, only make one? Did he hide others in his secret labs? Some researchers are convinced he did, and this is where the story gets really strange. There are urban legends, modern myths, born from a kernel of truth about people who claim to have found Tesla's lost notes. People who tried to rebuild the device, and when they turn it on, they report the exact same thing. First, static. 10 voices. Voices from the future, all carrying the same urgent message, warning them, begging them to stop. Some even say that if you tune a radio to just the right frequency, at just the right time, in one of the locations where Tesla worked, you can still hear them. The echoes of tomorrow, the voices from next week, next year, or centuries from now, all trying to warn us. But warn us about what? What did they see in their timeline that terrified them so completely? Maybe it's better, we don't know. Maybe Tesla was right to smash his creation to bits. Perhaps some doors are meant to remain closed forever. But the question remains. It's haunting, persistent, and impossible to ignore. If someone from the future could call the past, if they had the technology, the knowledge, and the desperate need to warn us. Would they? Have they? Are they trying right now? And if you received that call, if your phone rang with a number that doesn't exist, and a voice claimed to be calling from tomorrow, from next year, from the end of time itself, would you answer? Would you listen? Would you believe? Tesla did, and it apparently turned his final years into a nightmare of knowing what was coming, but being powerless to stop it. The telectroscope is gone, destroyed, lost to history, or so we're told. But somewhere, in a forgotten corner of an old building, in a dusty archive, or in a secret government facility, maybe, just maybe, a piece of it still exists, waiting, silent, ready to bridge the gap between now and then, between today and what will be. And in the dark, quiet hours of the night, when the veil between times grows thin, perhaps it rings. Perhaps someone, somewhere, is trying to call us, trying to warn us, just like they warned Tesla. The only question is, will we answer? In September 1941, as World War II ravaged Europe, life in a small town in British Columbia, Canada, tried to hold on to normalcy. The South Fork Bridge had just reopened, a local landmark restored, and hundreds gathered for the ceremony. Someone brought a camera and captured the moment. The crowd, the faces, the celebration. One single photograph. That photograph would be forgotten for decades, filed away in a museum basement, collecting dust, until 2010. It was scanned, posted online, and suddenly the world noticed something impossible. A figure in the crowd, standing out, like a tear in reality. Everything about him was wrong for 1941. His hair was styled in a modern way, swept to the side, not the slicked-back look of the era. He was wearing a graphic t-shirt, casual wear that wouldn't be common for another 20 years, with letters printed across the chest. Over it, a zip-up hoodie, the kind you'd buy today. Not a knitted wool sweater from the 40s. His eyes were hidden behind wraparound sport shades, lightweight and synthetic, completely out of place. And in his hands, he held a small, portable, personal camera. Nothing like the bulky, large-format cameras of the time. Everyone around him was in suits, fedoras, and period-appropriate dresses. He looked like he'd just walked off a college campus in that time. The photo went viral. Millions of views, thousands of comments, and endless debates. Debunkers appeared immediately. They claimed the sunglasses could be a rare vintage style. Maybe. They said the hoodie might be a work sweater with a very unusual zipper. They argued the t-shirt could be custom-made by someone with access to technology that was decades ahead of its time. But every single one of these explanations requires multiple coincidences, multiple anomalies, multiple impossible things all happening at once. The simplest explanation, as Occam's razor suggests, is often the correct one. But here, the simplest explanation is time travel. And that's impossible, isn't it? The museum was contacted and confirmed the photo's authenticity. It was from the original negative. There was no manipulation, no digital editing, because it was taken long before digital photography even existed. Experts analyzed the image, enhanced it, and studied every detail of the physical negative. They found no evidence of tampering, no signs of a double exposure, no indication of fraud. The photograph is real, which means the man in it is real, which means we need to explain him. People tried to track him down. Who was he? Where did he come from? But no local records matched his description. No family members ever came forward. He's a ghost, present in the photo, but completely absent from history. But look closer. Notice something subtle, something that makes this even more unsettling. His body language. He's completely relaxed, not tense, not worried about standing out. He seems to know he's different, and he just doesn't care. Or maybe he knows no one will notice. Not then, anyway. Only later. Only when people from his own time, our time, see the photograph. Is that why he's there? Not as an accident, but as a deliberate act. A message left across time. Proof planted in plain sight for a future generation to find. Think about it. If you had a time machine, why choose this specific moment? A small town bridge reopening in rural Canada. It's not a historically significant event. It changed nothing on the world stage. Unless that's exactly the point. Go somewhere small, somewhere overlooked, where the risk of creating a paradox is minimal. Don't try to change major events. Just appear. Be photographed. Leave behind a question that doesn't alter the timeline, a mystery that will haunt the internet forever. Maybe that's the rule for time travelers. You can be documented, as long as your presence is just a mystery, just a debate for people like us to discuss. But here's the truly terrifying possibility. What if he's not the only one? What if every historical photograph we've ever seen has someone like him hiding in the crowd? Someone we just haven't noticed yet. How many old pictures have you scrolled past? How many faces in those crowds did you really look at? They could be everywhere. Dozens, hundreds, thousands of time travelers, all captured on film, all hiding in plain sight, just waiting for someone to notice, waiting for someone to enhance the image and ask the right questions. This 1941 photograph is famous now, but it sat in an archive, unexamined, for 70 years. What else is sitting in archives right now? What other photographs contain impossible proof? What other moments in history hide visitors from our future? And why do they keep coming back? Are they tourists, scientists studying the past the way we study ancient ruins? Or is it something darker? Are they here for a reason we can't possibly comprehend? The young man in the photograph never aged in that time. He never grew old. And lived a life in the 1940s, because he wasn't from the 1940s. He was just visiting. And then he returned. To when? To when? To where? Is he alive right now? In our present? An old man remembering that day he posed for a photo that would one day baffle the world? Or is he still young? Still in his own time? Perhaps even planning the trip he has yet to take? Choosing the outfit that will make him a legend? Maybe you will be the one who discovers time travel. And maybe you'll remember this story and think, I should go back. I should be in that photograph. I should become the mystery. And so you will. You'll stand there in 1941, in your modern clothes, knowing exactly what you're doing, creating a loop, a paradox that feeds itself forever. The photograph exists. The man in it exists. The questions exist. But the answers, they remained locked in time, hidden in the spaces between seconds, trapped in the moment between then and now. One photograph, one man, one impossible moment, frozen forever. It's proof of something we can't explain, evidence of something we struggle to accept, but it's there, real, undeniable, waiting for you to see it, to study it, and to wonder. Because if the photograph is real, and if he is real, then time travel is real. And that means everything we think we know about reality, about cause and effect, about the steady march of time, all of it is wrong. (1917) World War I is tearing the world apart. Trenches, poison gas, millions dead. Photography exists, but it's expensive, formal, and rare. Every photograph from this era is a precious window into a lost world, carefully composed and meticulously preserved. But some of these windows show something impossible, something that shouldn't be there. Take a look at this collection of photographs. Different locations, different events, different photographers, all from 1917. And in each one, hidden in the crowds, barely noticeable, are people who just don't belong. This first photograph shows a factory reopening in Montreal. Hundreds of workers are gathered, celebrating. Everyone is dressed appropriately for the time. Women in long dresses, men in suits and caps, everyone. Except for one woman in the back. She's holding something to her ear, a small rectangular object. Her posture Her expression, it looks exactly like she's talking on a cell phone. But phones in 1917 were large, wooden boxers mounted on walls. You couldn't just walk around with them. Skeptics say it could be a hearing aid or a small notebook. But look at her body language. She's not checking a mirror. She's not writing. She's clearly communicating. Here's the second photograph, taken at a shipyard in Halifax, just days before the famous explosion. Among the hundreds of workers, one man stands out. He's wearing what appears to be modern steel-toed work boots, with industrial rubber Celesta kind that wouldn't exist for decades. His pants look like modern denim, with a cut and stitching that's far too contemporary for the era. And around his neck, something that looks suspiciously like plastic safety goggles. He's dressed for work, but work in the wrong century. Now for the third, and perhaps most disturbing photograph. A funeral in Toronto. It's a somber crowd. Everyone in black, heads bowed in grief. Except for one young man. He's standing apart, not participating, just watching. And in his hands, he holds a camera. Not the large format cameras of 1917 that required a tripod. This one is small, handheld, pointed casually at the crowd. It looks exactly like a modern digital camera. He is in mourning. He's documenting, like a tourist who knows this moment is historically significant. But this wasn't a famous funeral, so why would someone travel through time to photograph it, unless they weren't there for the funeral at all? Let's move to a street scene in Boston. Horse-drawn carriages, cobblestone streets, gas lamps still burning in the daylight. And there, on the sidewalk, is a woman wearing sunglasses. Not the round, vintage kind, but modern, aviator's dark, reflective, and completely anachronistic. Her dress seems period-appropriate at first glance, but if you look closer, the hemline is too short for 1917. The fit too casual, the fabric too synthetic. She's trying to blend in, and almost succeeds, but the small details betray her. And finally, our fifth photograph. A school classroom. Children are at their desks. The teacher at the front, a standard educational scene. But in the back row sits a boy with a wristwatch. It's clearly visible, with a modern style and what looks like a digital display. Wristwatches did exist in 1917, but they were mechanical and mostly for soldiers. They didn't look like this. These sleek, plastic, electronic. The kind you could buy at any store today, on the wrist of a child in 1917. These 5 photographs have all been authentic. They come from legitimate archives, with clear provenance. There's no evidence of digital manipulation, mainly because most were taken long before digital technology even existed. They're real, which means the people in them are real, which means we need an explanation. Is it all just a mass coincidence? Or could it be the simplest explanation, the one that defies everything we know? Time travelers. What's truly unsettling is that these aren't the only ones. Once you know what to look for, you start finding more. A man in a 1905 photo wearing sneakers. A woman in 1890 with a modern haircut. A crowd from 1875 with someone holding what looks like a smartphone. They seem to be everywhere, scattered throughout history, hiding in plain sight. So the question isn't whether these anomalies exist. They do. The question is why. Why do they keep appearing in photographs? Why don't they hide better? Maybe they can't. Maybe time travel has rules, and if you appear in a historical photograph, you have to appear, because you always did. Trying to avoid the camera would create a paradox. Or maybe it's intentional. Maybe they want to be seen, not by the people of 1917, but by us in the future, leaving breadcrumbs, leaving proof that can only be recognized decades later when technology allows these photos to be scanned, enhanced, and shared globally. Maybe that's the message. We're here. We've always been here. Think about it. If time travel exists and becomes common, then statistically, travelers would appear throughout history. Random visits, random moments, random locations, and sometimes they'd get photographed. The 1917 collection is just what we've found so far. How many other photographs contain travelers we haven't spotted yet? Millions of historical photos are sitting in archives, waiting for someone to look closely to spot the anomaly. Why so many in 1917? Was something special about that year? The middle of World War I. Maybe time travelers are drawn to pivotal moments in history. Or maybe 1917 isn't special at all. Maybe every year has its share of travelers, and we just haven't examined the photos as closely yet. We're only now beginning to understand what's been hiding in historical photographs all along, and what we're finding is terrifying, because it suggests time travel isn't rare or controlled. It might be common, frequent, accessible. People from the future could be moving through our past constantly, and they're not always careful. They make mistakes. They get caught on camera. This raises another chilling question. If they're this careless in the past, are they also in our present, right now? Today? Are there time travelers among us? Visiting our era? Documenting our time? Studying us like we study the past? Maybe. Maybe. Just maybe someone is photographing them right now, capturing their mistakes, photographs that won't be understood for decades until someone in the year 2100 looks back at pictures from our time and notices someone in the crowd wearing something that hasn't been invented yet. The 1917 photographs offer no answers. Only evidence. Only mystery. 5 people who don't belong, frozen in time, waiting for you to see them. To study them, and to wonder if maybe, just maybe, time is not what we think it is. They're there, in the photographs, in the crowds, hiding, watching, and occasionally making mistakes. Mistakes that become evidence. Evidence that becomes legend, and legend that might just be the truth. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more mysteries. See you next time.